family here in this room. We have friends. We have fellows that are with us and even connected from different parts of the world. And it's really important for us. And thank you, Imad, for the invitation to moderate this moment. And thank you, Elsa, because I mean, all the job you have done to get into this room at your 94th.
Can say that, all the job, to learn Zoom.
You are teaching, you're still teaching us a lot, really.
I learned Zoom 3 days ago.
Wow. And you did it. I mean, it's amazing. And that speaks of the spirit you're still having. I mean, I really thank you for the effort and for the obedience that you're still having and showing to us and to your call. Thank you very much.
So, Ismail, just to say that I'm going to mute everybody.
Yes.
Right, so just
thank you, Imad. And well, just for you to know as well, we are going to record this because Elsa and other people have been asking us to do it. If you don't mind, I mean, we would like to do that because it is really important to have this with us and probably to keep listening and reflect on that. This iListen Human Library is also regarding to the idea of how do we bring people, I mean, people that have been around and sometimes they don't appear on newspapers, but they still have a life truly committed to their own calling. And then from that point, I mean, to connect with others' callings. So, and how we have been delivering and building this brother community, which we feel very honored to be part of. And also, I would like to quote Benedetti, Mario Benedetti, an Uruguayan poet, that he says that small people in small places doing small things could change the world. I mean, that's a poet from Uruguay, and it is regarding with this concept of iListen Human Library. So we would like to connect with Elsa's learnings, and so I will give the time for you, Elsa, just to share what have you prepared for sharing, and just feel free. And then after Elsa's sharing, we will have a time just in silence to reflect on whatever the Spirit is inspiring us to do. And then we will open the space for questions, comments, or whatever is happening within ourselves will be more than welcome. So, Imad, I think Elsa is mute as well. Oh, Elsa, there you are.
Yeah, okay. I could start?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Very nice to see all of you. And you want to know why I went to South America and when I met MRA IFC? Well, 6 months after the war, I met MRA IFC, and I had been with my family all through the Nazi occupation for 5 years. Painful time, but we survived. And I met MRA, and I met through 2 friends. One was a leader of the Girl Guides with me, another one was at the university with me. And I was amazed about their faith, and I had found a faith at the age of 15. And I asked them, we have such a dynamic faith? And they told me about what they had discovered meeting MRA AOC in France. She said, we realized that your faith is not to believe just on Sunday morning, but every day in a very practical way. And they learn how it was important to take time every day to listen to the inner voice in your heart. Some will call it God, others will call it conscience, and to obey them. And then also that if you want the most important thing if we want to remake the world, you have to start change with yourself. That is the key thing that Frank Bookman told all of us. And to change yourself, it's not easy. And there was also absolute moral standards. I know some people don't like the word absolute, but myself, I would have never changed if that was not that word absolute, because there were certain things about my family background that I've decided I will never tell anyone. And when I was challenged to be absolutely honest, I had to decide, will I like to eat an omelette with half with good eggs and go on a plane which two motors don't work and other two works? Well, that's the same. Then I realized I should be absolutely honest, which I did, and that was a great liberation. Then I began to know MRA. I went to their meetings, was very interested for 2 years, and then afterwards I heard of all the fight for reconciliation in Europe and between France and Germany, and I wanted to be part of it. And then I was working in France for another year. Then I was invited to North America to really learn about this way of life. And there we had 2 plays, and we used to travel a lot, and Frank Bookman used to travel with us. Wonderful time, I learned a lot. And then at some point, I had the great privilege to be invited in Frank's home. He was invited to be in Florida, where there was a lot of trouble with buses and a lot of strikes. And some people of MRA in Florida said, we should ask the MRA people to come. Then somebody offered a home to Frank Bookman, and he asked 4 young girls, 2 of them, myself and somebody else from Sweden, and 2 others for the kitchen. I was responsible for the dining room. But I will say from the start, I was not there to serve Frank Bookman. I was a colleague of his, serving the world together, because Frank, we were serving the table, but he always included us in everything. We were part, and he had an amazing way to see the needs of people, and we will sit down with him and think, what are the needs of that person who comes tonight, and who in the force, international force, has something which could answer the need of that person. I did learn a lot. That was a great, great privilege. And another thing Frank Bookman said at that time that I never forgot, though I did not always live to it, he said, my aim is not the magnitude of our work, try to go to every country. No, it's to help people to be deeply, deeply committed. And really, a group of men and women does not need to be a big group who are totally committed, work together unitedly on one focus, one goal. And he said that I see those people will begin to change the world. And it's that I have learned that is absolutely true. Then I come back to Europe. I went to Co. And there was a lot of Brazilian, because a couple from Brazil, Dr. Luis Vizares and his wife, he was one of the leading industrialists, and his wife from German immigrant, they were very much taken. Madame Leonor Villares met MRA through an officer of the Salvation Army who had met Frank Bookman. She stopped in Brazil and met Madame Villares, Leonor Villares, and she said to her what she has seen in Norway, and there was going to be a conference at Co. Then Leonor Villares had a great passion that to see all the people of different faith, different race, different class to work together. And she said to her husband, we should go to Co. Then they decided to go to Co. And with other industrialists, they prepare a plane, and a full plane arrived in Co. And when I arrived in Co myself, it was full of Brazilians from all classes, politicians and all that. And people of Brazil liked very much what they saw. And they went to see Frank Bookman and said, we like what we saw, and we like to invite 10 people who will provide a home for them to help us to change, to bring those ideas to Brazil, which is in a great, great need. Then 10 of us were invited. And some went by plane and some went by boat. I went by boat. 17 days we crossed the ocean, and it was a long time. A very old boat. The 3 young men and myself. The young men were 14 in a cabin. I was with 3 other ladies. I was not bad. We arrived in Brazil. We were in São Paulo for some months, and then Luis Villares. They were a couple very key to bring to really make MRA give a real impact to South America. And one day, after being several months in São Paulo, he called us and said, look, the docks of Brazil are in a terrible state, especially the docks of Rio. There is murder every day. No navigation company wants to stop anymore. And it's like a human being. When the docks, the port of a country are like the lungs of a human being. If the lungs don't work, the human being choke. Well, when the ports don't work, the country collapses. And he said, I'd like you to help to get to know the people there and help us to bring those ideas of change. Then we went to Rio, and some of us live in family home, others lived in a little flat which had been put at our disposal. And the young men went every day because the port was run by two rival trade unions, a left one and a right one. The right one, the man was called Nelson, very ambitious, he had been very poor, wanted to get a lot of money. He was responsible, he had a good job in the port, and he used corruption to a great extent because he will be given sum of money to be able to let the suitcase pass without being opened at the douane. And then they begin to what do I want to say now? Yes, then they begin to, well, I have to look at my paper. Yes, then they begin to work, and some were interested, some not. But then there was some. Yes, after a while, the young men realized after being visiting the dockers every day, and we ladies were visiting their families. Most of those dockers were not married to their wives. They were the mother of their children. And they lived in what we call in French a cité ouvrière. 5 big buildings, Villa Portuaria, it was called, minuscule flats, no bathrooms, 3 little rooms, and the bathroom and the toilet, and you could put soap on your body, and to put water, you use a tin of oil which had been well cleaned. And we lived there for a few days, and I tell you, it was fun to experience that. Anyway, we became friends with some did not like us, they closed the door in our face, but some became friends and told us what they felt and how their husband was only interested with other women, because at that time this was corruption, it was extramarital relationship and nothing else. Then some of the dockers were invited at an evening. The young men who had been visiting them for some weeks, even I think 3 months every day, said, I think we are ready to have an evening together with the two trade unions which are rival. And Nelson, Damasio was the one of the left, and Nelson of the right, and others. And they came to that little flat we had there, and some people who had come from abroad told that they experience, and they say, change, you will build a new society only if you have personal change. And one of the young men who was an engineer told them how he had to change. He thought he knew better than the workers who have been in that factory for many years. And then they told them about listening to your inner voice. And they proposed, would you like to do that? We said, yes, why not? And it was an amazing thing. The only person who had something to say afterwards was the man of the left, Damasio. They had been nearly killing each other all the time. It was terrible what was happening in the port of Rio. And Damasio said, well, I always come out with a knife and 2 revolvers. I think a knife is enough, and I am going to sell my 2 revolvers, which he did the next day. Nobody believed he will do it, but he did. And then people begin to realize he meant business. Then something began to happen. Some people were interested in what was happening. And then dockers of Santos, who had known Marie before 2 or 3, invited them to a big meeting, because Damasio and Nelson were not united still. They were hating each other. Then they all came to that big meeting in São Paulo, and there was an amazing time where those 2 men really were honest with each other, Nelson said to Damaso, we both are fighting for the same thing. We want to change the way we are treated. We were badly treated, very poor salaries. And we do it, both of us, we do it the wrong way. Why don't we work together unitedly? They agree, and there was big embrace, like in Brazil always. And they really went back to Rio fully united. And there they begin to change the docks. Many people begin to change. They brought back what they had been that they have stolen. The corruption went down. I will not say that everything became perfect. There was still corruption in some corner. But that whole group of dockers became a force of a grand positive force for the nation. And I remember they decided now one thing we should do is to have clean election. And they did that. And the 12 people who were elected were 12 people who have been exposed to the ideas of MRA IOC. And Enrique was the president, a very good man. And then he united with Nelson, Damaso, and few others. And there was a group of 6 or 7 men who were absolutely committed to change themselves and to really fight for bringing something totally new to the docks. Then they began to do it. It was amazing. A very big change. The docks of Rio became a force of good for the nation. And the newspaper of Rio, especially the important one, the Jornal do Brasil, had in its first page, the dockers of Rio de Janeiro give us a real lesson of democracy. And it became something amazing. Then if somebody said, well, man should make a film of that. A film was made, people of the international force of MRA IOC helped. They came, a film was made, and which is called Men of Brazil. And that film was a real weapon who could go to other countries. And at the same time, when they went to Peru, there was also young men from Japan who had come with a play, The Tiger. And in Peru, there was a very old university, the oldest one, San Marcos, where the young men of the student leadership were all Marxist. But they were captured by what the Japanese said to them, and also by change of men of Brazil. And they decided to, not all of them, but some of them decided, we are going to leave Marxism and we're going to work with you. And with the dockers, they wrote a play called The Condor. And that play was invited to America, and there a film was made of it, then to Canada. And then in Canada, a leader, a spiritual leader from Quebec wanted to use it, and we went to many places there. And that, I think it was a bishop in Quebec, and he told about a bishop in Italy. You should go. You should invite that group to Italy. They have really something to give to those countries. Then we were invited by the Bishop of Bari to go to Italy. And we were in Italy with all the dockers and others. We were 70 people for a year. And an amazing thing. And what people often don't know, but MRA there had a big part, and especially the place of the dockers, of changing the attitude of the Catholic Church towards MRA. Because when MRA arrived in France, the church, Catholic Church, said to the French people, Catholic, you should not, you could go to meeting, but you should not take any responsibility there. You should not, we don't know what it is. And many French people left MRA at that time, which was very sad. Later on, it was different. Then, when we were in Italy, the man who had been there for a long time, an English couple, said, I think I want to take some of those dockers to go to Palermo and to meet one of the cardinals there. Then they went, and there they showed the Men of Brazil to the cardinal. And in that room was also the sister of the cardinal who was the head of the Curia, which is really the government of the church. And the man there, the cardinal there, was the one who had a lot of misgiving about MRA. And she said, my brother should see that film. Then she asked if she could take a copy. She went to Rome, showed it to his brother, and he was captured. because many of those dockers had gone back to their faith, married the mother of their children. 32 marriages between Rio, Santos, and Recife happened over the years there when the dockers begin to all that work. And then the man was, and he said, oh, well, I want to meet the leaders of MRA, that cardinal. He liked the film very much. He wanted to meet. Then it was a couple from Britain, Wilson, went to Rome, had a long time with the cardinal. And at the end of their talk, the cardinal said, well, there was a real misunderstanding between us. And I want to tell you from now on, the doors of Catholic Church are fully open to you. Then some cardinal could go to Co, and some of you will remember Cardinal Koenig came and became a very close friend of MRA and helped us very much when we begin to work behind the Iron Curtain. That's one thing. Then where are we? Well, and now the film.
Could I ask you how many years you spent in South America?
I say 40 years, but you know, traveling with, where in 1 year in Italy, traveling with 40 years. Living with all the South American, and from the start, the Brazilian adopted us because we were the first wave of the 10 people invited by the Villares, but afterwards, many younger people than us, many of the young people, some of them were I saw today, came from Norway, Malta, England, Scotland, Philippines, Japan. Fantastic, a lot of young people, and it was wonderful to work with them, and we are still in touch with each other, which is a great thing. There was bonds. We were on our own often there, far away in South America. People did not come because they did not speak the language. Then we were very good friends. And
you also, you even got married here.
Huh?
You got
yes,
married.
another great gift that I got married to one of the young men who was invited by Luis Villares. Elsa Vogel, who was a PhD in metallurgy, and we worked together. I knew him very well, and after being he proposed to me as well, I said yes immediately. I know in my heart, if marriage was for me, it will be Elsa Vogel. I think it was it's something from God who tells you what to do, because we all want to get married and we see, will it be this one or this one? But one day I was at the hairdresser and I felt in my heart, if marriage is for me one day, don't go around, who will be? This one, Elsa Vogel will be. Then we got engaged, and when the doctors heard that, the wives, who were now married with their husband, said, oh, we look after the reception, we will make all the cake the night before. And they took on the whole thing, and there was 250 people there. And Laurie and I went on working in South America with the same commitment we had done when we were on our own. Then it was a great gift, and we love it. You know, I must say, we have learned much more from South America and the Brazilian and the other countries of Latin America than we have given. We have been given a lot. And naturally, afterwards, the film of the dockers went to Uruguay, where there was trouble in the ports, and their two trade union leaders had changed profoundly, very deeply, and they say, well, we should ask the dockers of Rio to come to the port. And really, many things begin to happen. And I would like to say that for the way Uruguay and Argentina opened, it was thanks to the family Alonso. He was a businessman, very important businessman, and his wife was American. He was Spanish, parents of Janet Alonso, who had a big part in creating Gentique Alonso. And they introduced one of the couple, the Lamon was invited to be in Uruguay, and then the Alonso introduced them to a lot of people. And
just for you to know that Janet is here with us in this call. She is connected from Uruguay. You know, she's saying hello.
Hello. And then her parents were wonderful people. And then when there was a team in Uruguay, a small team, there was a man there, which was a diplomat from Argentina who could not stand Perón, and I left and was in exile in Uruguay. And he met the dockers who had come to help. And he said to the docker, if one day I'm asked to serve in my country, the first thing I will do is to invite you to come. And you know, the amazing thing, 3 weeks later, Perón fell, And Raúl Migoni was called to be the Minister of Labor of Argentina, and the first thing he did was to invite the people to the dockers to come to Argentina. And it was a fantastic time. And then afterwards, Chile, there was a Chilean lady, aristocrat lady, who did not know what to do with her life. She was completely brought some people to Co. And then afterward, it was Colombia. Then it was Central America. But I'm not going to tell you more, otherwise your head is going to burst.
If you allow me now, I will just say that there is a book written by Daniel Domel, which has been printed just in French, that it tells the whole story of MRA in South America.
And it's called Actor of Change in Latin America.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, printed. I can see that some people are interested to print it because there is great need in South America now. Not all is well. And it's very important that people who are in South America now, and especially working with Ima and Fabiana, which is wonderful, they have decided to come to work with the Brazilians. Some people are very happy, others are not, but they are creating a new team around them. They are very good Brazilians who still are fighting, and it's very important that they know what MRA is really about.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really amazed. What a good memory, Elsa. It's really amazing how you still have those details in your mind. I mean, you're like an open library, really. I'm really glad. I really thank you. And
not at all.
I now would like just to have a moment in silence, just to think about what we have heard and write down any question, any thoughts, any comments. As I used to say, whatever comes, I mean, it's welcome because it's trying to tell us something about ourselves. So don't try to push everything in one direction. Just try to be really open. And after what the things we have heard from Elsa, just have 5 minutes in silence if you like to. Just feel free to shut down your camera, your video, and then just to be in silence for 5 minutes. Well, welcome back. And just for you to know, if you would like to make any comments or questions, do please write your name in the chat box, which we have already Maria del Corral from Colombia. Is Maria. Elsa. Okay. Your mic, Elsa, it's okay. Thank you, Imad. Yes, Maria, go ahead.
Okay, I am translating for Lucia Borges, who is not an English speaker, and she. Hi, Elsa. First of all, sorry.
Nice to see you.
So lovely to see you.
So lovely to see you.
I'm translating for Lucia Borges, who is a teacher at Uniminuto in Bogota, and she wants to know if we could manage a virtual version of the book, because she could use it then at the university much more easily than a
Oh yes,
printed.
Lucia Borges, I know her very well. Well, there is not printed yet, but there is copy on the computer of somebody. Maybe I could ask that man is Andrew Stalibras if he would like to send a copy. It will be on the computer.
Okay.
Yes.
And I could send it to yeah,
Yes.
and you will have to send me the address, or I could send it. Could be I could ask him to send it to you, Maria. And
Yes.
I know very well what's her name, Borges. Yes, she's a
Yes.
wonderful person.
Yes.
Maria?
Yes. She is also asking me very cheekily if you can tell us how old you are, because she's fascinated by your memory and all your
Yeah,
stories.
well, in 2 months and a half, I will be 95.
Wow. My respect. That's
Yeah.
lovely. That's
Yeah. Yes, I'm very lucky.
Maria, the
Lucia.
book, as I told you, has been just printed in French, but there is an English version which is being translated into Spanish. So, and the point is we are trying to make some study groups using this material in South America. So it would be good to get in touch with you say who is in
Lucia Borges wants to share it at the university. She wants to make use of it at the university.
Oh yes, because
And
she
I
worked
would like
very
to
hard.
have it too.
good.
Yeah,
Now,
I will ask Andrew Stalibras. You send me her email or your email, and I will ask Andrew Stalibras if he could send. He's the only one who has those copy on his computer.
yes, thank you, Maria. Any other comment or question?
No, any help we can give with the translation or with the review of the translation, we are willing.
Oh, very good. Very nice to see you.
We
Remember
have
your parents very well.
Aline now. She's from Brazil. Aline.
Yes.
Hello, nice to see you. Tudo bem?
How nice, Tizi. Tudo bem. Tudo bem, Elsa. Very nice to hear from you. It's amazing. We were in touch about 1 year ago, I think so. You came to Brazil, to Rio,
Yes.
and with Normanton. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Lydia Normanton. Yes.
Yeah.
Who were you both so lovely, and we changed some.
Yes, I remember. It was very nice. You and your
mother. It was very nice. Yes. She was trying to come in, but she couldn't make it.
Isolation, we have to obey.
Well, I just wanted to thank you very much for the sharing. It's wonderful that I've heard those stories sometimes when we were together.
Yeah.
For all these years, but every time I listen to them, I see that they touch me in some new way. I was thinking about the story about the dog workers, and how difficult it was to change people who were so closed in themselves ideas and
Yeah, yeah.
and maybe we are crossing this again, not only in Brazil, not only in IFC, but maybe in the world. And I was thinking that the pandemic is, although we have to admit that it is a very difficult time, and we in Brazil, we have lost the double of the people China has
Oh, yes, yes, I know.
lost
Terrible.
in so short time. But we think we have to think on this as an opportunity to change,
Yeah, yeah,
to
absolutely.
change in personal level, but it's impossible to see it in a personal level without making well, without seeing that in a global
Yeah, yeah,
scale.
probably. Yeah, to have a big vision.
We have to have a big vision. So that's it. It's a great challenge. I'm just touched by your sharing and very grateful for this time with you and with all of you. So many friends I've been in touch again visually.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you very much.
thank you, thank you.
Muito obrigado, Aline. E agora, well, sorry. Now we have Dr. Nadia, please. Welcome.
Who is that?
I am Nagia from Egypt.
Ah, very
Thank
nice.
you very much. It was very, very interesting. God bless you, my dear. The thought I had was that there is a saying in MRA that men must choose to be part of the disease or part of the cure.
Absolutely.
And I think when people like you in the early days decided to be part of the cure and stick firm to the absolutes, then they were effective. My mother used to say that you cannot cut glass by glass. You have to cut it by diamond because diamond is absolutely pure. You see?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I think that at your times, MRA was a real force, and it was empowered to bring real change in individuals, communities, and even governments. And the secret was the absolutes, clinging to absolutes. And this brought the blessing, God's blessing to the world.
Yeah.
We need God's blessing. We may be doing things, but for what we do to be fruitful, it needs God's blessing. So we need to be on the side of God.
Yeah.
And the last thing is there is a verse I recall from the Holy Quran, which says, الَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Those who strive in us, we are going to guide them to our paths, to our ways.
Yeah.
So it is a struggle.
Yeah, it is a struggle, but we will win at the end.
Ya Rab, I hope so, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, and now we have Michael Kessling. Welcome. Kittling. Welcome.
Micro.
Ah, c'est Michel. Bonjour, Michel. Ça va?
I want to say that I met Elsa when she was student and I was student too. And our friendship has lasted
72 years.
And Elsa was very good to tell us to be faithful to the principle of MRA, from the basic principle, because the French sometimes go somewhere else. So she was our delegate to Latin America for a long time. So thank you, Elsa, for your fight. And this shows that friendship and commitment can last for many, many years.
It's wonderful to see you, Michel, and much love to you and to Catherine. No, to
Catherine, oui.
To you, Catherine.
Catherine, my wife, was also a good friend of.
Oh yes, and I knew her
of
parents. I
Elsa.
was with her parents for a while. It was wonderful. Learned a lot.
Well, thank you very much. Now we have John Bond. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Elsa, what interested me in the story you told was that you came to Brazil, and some people said a very difficult place is the docks. And you decided we will focus on the docks, on the port of Rio.
Yeah.
Now that is a really interesting strategy. You know, you didn't go everywhere. It seems to me you went to the docks.
Yes, it was Luis Villares who said that's where you should go.
Well, that's what interested me. How do you decide? What is your strategy? Because it's not, IFC MRA is not just living a good life. It's actually seeing a strategy to bring change.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've answered partly that the businessman said that is the place we should work.
Yeah.
That's how you decided, okay, we will focus on
and then I think we talked between us, and the young men of the group of the 10 who arrived at the first wave of those people who were invited decided, well, we will go and see them every day, have a cafezinho at 12 o'clock, which some people let them do. And we went to see the mother of their children in the other building.
And then you even stayed with them in their little...
Oh, yeah, once I was there for 2 days. It was good to experience what happened. Slept on the floor, but it was great fun. And every time I go to Brazil, I still go there. They have transformed their little flat, and it's better, but still very minuscule. Some of them have moved to better places.
So what do you think that says to us as we work today? Have you any advice for us?
Well, I think not only for you, but for many of us, the thing I forgot to say is that after the dockers were such a force, the businessmen begin to say, what about us? We need to rethink of our life. And many, well, not many, but 3 businessmen, very important, Zimmerman, Marshall Muniz, and another man, they really decided the dockers have done their part. We should go and work alongside them. And I feel we should really be sure we reach not only the workers, the people of the simple people, but we reach also the industrialists and the politicians. And in those last years, I think we have not done enough of that.
Right. Thank you. That makes me think.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
Thank you. We have Hansa, which have been writing some of the question, but Hansa, you are welcome to talk now.
Who is that?
Hello, Elsa. I am Hamza from Lebanon. Actually, I am in Breakdown in Paris, France.
Ah, yes. Oh, you are Rodrigo.
Hamza.
Hamza. Very nice.
I may be Rodrigo as well. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too. Thank you for your sharing. It's really inspiring. Like what I was thinking about, like we have a lot of golden like stories like that in the history of IOFC. And I was thinking how to make use of it, like how to have like an archive with all those stories. Because like when we are in conferences, generally we don't have too much time to listen to all those. Like we are losing too much. And like in my mind, like how can we work on making archives or making movies from such great histories? And that may help IOFC to make outreach and at the same time fundraising.
Yeah, yes, that's good. Very good idea.
Wow.
Nice to meet you.
It is really nice, Hamza. I mean, you know, there's a platform quite related with IOFC called For a New World, which is trying to gather all this information. I mean, videos, life experiences, and yes, the point that will be available for any thought, any personal call, just to go in that direction that you are pointing. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, very nice.
Elsa, we have Christine and Mick. Mike, sorry.
Christine Turner and Mick, yes, sure. From Ireland. Great friends.
You're mute. Sorry. Yes.
What's happening? They have gone?
Imad, could you help? Yes. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Ah,
Thank you.
nice
very
to see you both.
Lovely to see you again, and thank you for your inspiring talk as usual. And Mick and I remember you and Laurie and the other IFC members in Birmingham when we first met at the end
Yes,
of the 80s, early 90s, and I think the Normingtons there.
yes, they were there too.
As well. And well, as you know, that Mick and I are now back living in Northern Ireland. We're living in an area on the north coast that is very sectarian in many ways. Sometimes we feel very discouraged because attitudes towards people who are different or the other just don't or won't change. And I just wonder, how did you and Laurie manage when attitudes were very discouraging and very closed and very self-righteous?
Well, let me think. Sometimes we did not manage at all, but I think in some cases, I could think of you have to be very patient and to make friends, to think. And often in my moment of quiet, I will ask my inner voice, is there something I could do just to show that I care for them? And then it took a long time, but it's not easy, as I could tell you, it's not easy. But I think it's to think, for example, where I live now, there are wonderful people, but there are 2 or 3 people so difficult. I don't know how to win them. And I realize, I say, well, I know one of them love French baguettes, and when I go to France, I come back with a French baguette, which I say you can put in your freezer, you know, because I know that touch her very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, little thing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice to see you both.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Elsa, we have Mayur from India. He's having some problems with the voice, but he wrote down a question. Say, thank you, Elsa, for a very inspiring sharing. I love the part about your boat trip adventure. My question is, do you see any difference in IFC as a movement that is today and the one that it was in your times? If yes, what are some of the major differences you see?
Well, yes, it is. I think for some people, it's still they deeply believe in personal change is the most important thing to change society, and they still believe listening to the inner voice and the absolute moral standards. But I think what I feel we have missed in the last years is to reach enough people of all kinds, industrialists, politicians. You know, when Frank Buchmann, well before anybody else, he went to South America. And in South America, they were Fidel Castro, who became the leader in Cuba, were quite clear that Latin America should become the first continent to become communist. And they were working very, very hard to win people. And we had to see what could we do to win them. And what was the question you asked me? Oh, wait. I lost my...
The difference that you see?
The difference. And I think now we have projects. Some are very good, like from that project from refugees to rebuild, magnificent. But I think we are each one working on our project, making wonderful things, but we need to be a united force together with one goal and have more care for the people who have another project, work together. I think we have lost that link of working closely together as a one force.
Very, very, very powerful challenge. How do we become that united force, Elsa?
Well, that's Well, I think it's what you are trying to do, you and Fabiana, with some of our friends. Some are against you being there, and they want to do something else. They don't want challenging people. They want to do mass meeting, which don't bring at all change. And but you and some Brazilians who are still quite convinced they should give the real MRA IOC challenge. You are trying to build a group of people who one day will create a continental force. And I think that's very important.
Thank you. Let's see if we have any more.
People must be tired.
You must be tired.
Oh, and what I was tiring, it was the Zoom. Oh, the Zoom was awful for me. And it's so easy, but I thought it was terrible.
We have a suggestion of 1 minute, probably quiet time, just to reflect on what we have been reflecting. But and have Pilar with one common question. But let's have this 1 minute just to keep reflecting and digesting this nice experience that you are sharing with us.
Yeah. Who is that? Oh, that's Anthony and Anne. Oh, nice to see you.
And now we have, we are
Hello?
almost at the end of the, sorry, we are almost getting to the end. So I will give the chance to Pilar that she has asked to have some comments. Bienvenida, Pilar.
Gracias. Buenos días. Good morning. From Seattle and Costa Rica. First of all, I want to say thank you for this time. And as the Latin American team tries to get together and create, you know, like a new force, I have a question. Do you see yourself as still kind of active to support us in this new project that we have?
You're asking me that?
Yes.
Well, if I have the health, I am. If I become gaga, I won't do it.
That is great. I think that we are, your words are very inspiring, and also sometimes we need some kind of leadership that can guide us, and it's the glue that keep us together. And your words today, just during my quiet time, made me think, if you can play that role, that active role for us, I think that that will be a gift from God, and that will be very helpful.
Yeah, oh, well, I know Costa Rica. I love that country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
And she is being really active, I mean, still very active. And probably what you're saying that we need to connect with others in South America.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
let Elsa get into our communication now that she's a really proficient in Zoom. And
no, not quite yet. I can't. Oh, I could not sleep. That Zoom, when I see written that Zoom there, oh, I am not a digital person. That's quite clear.
The lesson there is still that, I mean, we can cope with nowadays challenges. I mean, you are really great.
And yeah, but I know that technique is wonderful, but I'm too old for it. But anyway, I have to learn it, and it's not as bad as I thought it was.
We have
but you are very good, you, Fabiana. You are very good.
Thank you.
We are getting to the end of this.
Oh yeah, people must be full in their head. They must have a rest now.
And we have a lot of things to talk to reflect about, and I would like have time to talk about how do you as a couple, I mean, one of the questions went in that direction of, as a couple, how do you keep being faithful for your calling, which is not easy sometimes because the inspiration I have sometimes, she doesn't. So how do we manage? Well, an interesting, very interesting theme to reflect about among couples which have been devoting themselves to this calling. And also, I mean, I got, by reading the books of Daniel Dumet, Frank Buchman first visited South America in the decade of 1930.
That's why he went to Peru, especially, and other countries. And what he said, when he was amazed because, you know, Fidel Castro was quite clear, and Stalin, that South America should become the communist continent. And he was amazed to see that nearly every leader of South America had a young man at his side, who was a Marxist. And when he came back, he said to the team in Britain, who of you are ready to be alongside some of your politicians and really do for the spiritual thought of MRA what the communists were doing in South America? That's what he said.
A very good point. Yeah.
Yes, and he wrote down a thought that he had after being here. He said, these lands are spiritually bankrupt.
Yeah, that's right.
His conclusion. And we are still spiritually and morally bankrupt.
Yeah, that's right. There were some years which were good, but we are back to zero again, and we need to see. Well, I think you are doing it with others, and it will take time. You have to be patient, and especially to be faithful. And when we try to win people, not tell them, like MRA was a new doctrine with regulation, tell them where you have been wrong, where you have changed, and that is the key to a new society.
Wow, that's very powerful. I mean, and Elsa, well, I have many things that I would like to ask you, but I think we will need various full days with you and sharing, but we thank you, and we thank you all of you for being there and listening. And
thank you. It was wonderful to see so many friends.
Yes.
And to meet some people I've never met before. That was really good. And to see Fabiana. I know she's very busy at home.
Elsa, would you like to finish this time together with some thought and just to end up with?
Well, I think the thing with which people do you want to win, as the important thing is not to throw at them a doctrine with regulation, but to share your life. It's stories of where you have changed and what has happened in your life, which will win people, nothing else. And to be patient. The one thing is first to make friends with people. We could get people too fast to people, giving them the whole thing of MRA, and they are completely lost. We have to make friends, and at the right moment, we can talk on a deeper level with them. I think to win people, to win the friendship first, it's very important.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Very nice to see all of you, to see Michelle and Catherine, and to see so many other people I've not seen for a while. Everybody is so young still.
Ivan, would you like to read?
What's that? Very good.
Please invite for the next iListen my library.
Ismail, were you asking me to say something?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to speak, but I did put it in the text. It's been wonderful, Elsa. Thank you so much. And thank you, Isma. I just wanted to say that this was our debut, whatever it's called, the beginning. Today, we had Chris Mayer this morning and Elsa now. but we will be announcing soon the next two human books or living history contributors, because we wanted to do it in a fixed weekly session, but next week, this time, we will be having a public webinar with Suresh Vazirani. So please join us same time next Saturday. But we will be announcing the next two living histories, if you like, very soon. But also for those who haven't been to the iListen daily session, a warm invitation to come and join in fellowship and sharing. So, but thank you again, Ismail and Elsa, and everybody for joining in.
Yes. Well, thank you. Have a nice weekend. And yes. Abrazos, hugs.
Abrazos.
Gracias.
Lovely to see all of you.
Ciao, merci.
Obrigada.
Ciao, todo mundo.
Jushu Baleza.
Thank you.
Paka.
Ciao, Elsa.
Claro.
Au revoir, Elsa.
Thank you very
Au
much.
revoir. Au revoir.
Ismar, thank you as well.
Merci.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very
Elsa.
much to all of you. It's lovely to talk.
And to Ismar and Fabiana.
Nico too, and
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
great joy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We loved listening to you and meeting all our friends.
Oh, that's
So
good.
wonderful.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Elsa. All our friends. Nobody has got older, of course.